Hello and welcome to Select 10. Some of the top Hollywood films from 2023 have already been released in theaters, and a few of them are now accessible on popular streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, HBOMAX, and others. So, today we will list down some of the best brand new Hollywood action, adventure, fantasy, and horror films that have just been released on the mentioned streaming platforms. Likewise, let us know in the comments how many of these new films you have seen, along with which one is your favorite. Now let's start the video. Number 10. Simulant. It is a 2023 sci-fi thriller film, directed by April Mullen. The film is set in the near future and tells the story of Evan, a robotic being built for a woman named Faye to take the place of her deceased partner. However, when Evans intends to completely achieve all of his true human capabilities, events quickly take a dangerous turn. Evans recruits Casey, a talented international programmer whose goal is to lift all limitations on androids' mental processes and powers. However, during the process, he sparks an AI rebellion, which sets off an authorities investigation commanded by Officer Kessler, who is willing to go to drastic measures to put an end to the development of the artificial machines. Doesn't that sound more like a Terminator story? However, it has its own interesting and distinctive side storylines that may interest a general audience, but not sci-fi fans. Although the movie is stylish and attractive and has a strong sci-fi concept, it falls flat since we have already seen stories of this sort. Therefore, if you want to watch a typical machines versus humans tale with a little twist, you might enjoy this one. Number 9. On a Wing and a Prayer. It is a 2023 survival drama film directed by Sean McNamara. The plot is centered around Doug White and his family, who take a charter aircraft back home. But their trip quickly turns into a nightmare when the captain unexpectedly dies and aviation officials demonstrate to Doug how to operate an aircraft and safely land it. The rest of the stories unfold as Doug struggles and does everything in his power to safely land the plane, protect every member of his family, and save everyone else on board. The film is said to be based on an incredible real-life tale where a father saves his loved ones from unimaginable risk. Overall, the film falls short of conveying the intensity and gravity of the actual event and turns into a standard survival drama with a decent plot and a few thrilling scenes. So, if you're looking for something to pass the time and enjoy, this might be the one for you. Number 8. A Good Person. It is a 2023 drama film written, directed, and produced by Zach Braff. The plot centers on Allison, a young woman with a great fiancé, an established profession, and an encouraging circle of relatives. But after surviving an unfathomable catastrophe, her entire existence quickly comes crashing down as she struggles to rehabilitate while dealing with a drug problem and unbearable sorrow. Later, Allison, who is grieving and looking for redemption, is helped by her father-in-law in finding companionship, acceptance, and an opportunity for battle in order to put herself together again and move forward. The film pace is a little slow, and its plot is a little unorganized, but overall it has some funny moments as well as deeply moving moments. This film is about redemption and is both deeply heartbreaking and entertaining in unexpected ways. If you enjoy this genre, put it on your watch list. Number 7. The Pope's Exorcist. It is a 2023 supernatural horror film directed by Julius Avery. The story is based on the records of Father Gabriel Amorth, a holy priest who served as the senior exorcist and carried out over 100,000 demon banishing procedures throughout the course of his life. The plot follows Gabriel Amorth, the top priest in the Vatican, as he looks into an individual's possession and discovers a sinister scheme that the city has been hiding for decades and that might put all of humanity at risk. The historical part of the horror element enhances the suspense and the chills with an incredible twist on the standard evil versus priest storyline. The film's biggest attraction is Russell Crowe's character, yet the horror plot does a good job and won't let the audience down. Number 6. Renfield. It is a 2023 comedy horror film directed by Chris McKay. The movie tells the horror story of Renfield, Dracula's tormented assistant and faithful follower who served his egotistical master throughout history. Throughout the duration of his years of servitude, Renfield must find his boss's victim and carry out his orders, no matter how despicable. However, after 100 years of serving, Renfield becomes tired and decides to quit Dracula to forge its own identity. But things do not go according to plan, since Renfield will be punished if he leaves Dracula because, in earlier days, the vampire promised him eternity only if he assisted him in carrying out his desires. The story will look at how the contract creates dependence between Renfield and Dracula. The story approaches all of these topics from a humorous perspective, as Renfield strives for an answer to how to overcome his dependency on Dracula and stop him permanently. Can he succeed? Well, that will give away the ending, so I'll let you find out. The movie presents an unusual monster comedy that gives outdated vampire repetition a fresh take and delivers horror movie fans an engaging and amusing viewing adventure. Number 5. Discontinued. It is a sci-fi mystery film directed by Trevor Peckham. The story centers on Sarah, a young woman with severe stress and a gloomy outlook on mankind's destiny. But after learning that her real life is actually just a complex digital simulation that is destined to close down in a matter of days, she observes as insanity breaks out and enlists the assistance of an artificial intelligence advisor in order to assist her in confronting the coming collapse of the universe as she understands it, while at the same time tracking an unthinkable path in the direction of becoming oneself. The film's most noteworthy aspects are its original and provocative idea, which is skillfully presented in a way that makes it a clever and engaging sci-fi movie. The cinematography, emotion, and humor further improve the movie. Although the concept of the movie is wonderful, it is not for everyone because it is not your typical science fiction movie about planets, aliens, or spaceships. The film's shortcomings are its pacing and uninteresting secondary characters, but this film intrigues you with its science fiction plot, so if you enjoy that sort of thing, you'll enjoy it. Number 4. A.K.A. It is an action thriller film directed by Morgan S. Dalibert. The plot focuses on a soldier named Adam Franco who infiltrates an underground gang and unanticipatedly becomes friendly with the boss's youngest child. Adam Franco is tasked with going incognito for a criminal organization and must become close to the group leader, Victor, but due to unanticipated events, Adam ultimately finds himself in an assignment where he must defend Joe, Victor's son. But as Adam finds himself becoming closer to Victor, he learns about the various threats the cartel is up against, requiring him to utilize his exceptional combat abilities while avoiding being discovered. Let's be honest, we have seen many films with these kinds of plots, yet action, and only action adequately sums up this film. So what's different here is the action, which, no matter how much you watch, is always entertaining. Number 3. Evil Dead Rise. It is a 2023 supernatural horror film directed by Lee Cronin. If you enjoy horror films, you've probably watched some of the earlier Evil Dead films. However, if you haven't, it's okay, you can watch this one first, since its plot has nothing to do with that of the prior movie. But one thing this movie definitely has is the classic elements that have been lacking from the last few films in the series of Evil Dead films. Additionally, it is the 5th movie in the Evil Dead franchise. The plot revolves around two distant sisters, Beth, who goes to her older sister, Ellie, who, on the other side, is caring for her 3 children alone in her gloomy apartment. However, the family's reunion is quickly shortened by the emergence of deadly spirits, forcing them into a struggle to stay alive. Finally, after such a long wait, the audience was able to watch the best Evil Dead movie. This movie stands out in terms of terror, violence, and suspense, and if you are a fan of this franchise, you really must see it. Even if you haven't, you will still find it to be a truly entertaining horror movie experience. Number 2. Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. It is a 2023 action thriller film directed by Guy Ritchie. The film is about an ex-army commander, John Kinley, who comes back to save a translator named Ahmed, who rescued his life from a terrorist group. All of this begins with a covert operation in which Ahmed undertakes extraordinary measures to save Kinley's life. However, when Kinley finds out that Ahmed wasn't given secure transportation according to agreement, he must make good on what he owed by going back to the combat zone to find him before the organization does. If you are a true fan of action films, you probably already know about Guy Ritchie. For those of you who are not familiar with his work, let me just say that he makes excellent action flicks. Some of his best-known films include Wrath of Man, The Gentleman, and many more. Aside from action-packed scenes that keep you on the edge of your seat the entire time, the film offers excellent writing with just the right amount of emotion. Although it is somewhat predictable, it contains more positive aspects that make the movie enjoyable. Number 1. Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Many people had doubts about this film, but now it's safe to say that it exceeded everyone's expectations and impressed most of the audience and even game fans. It is a 2023 fantasy heist comedy film directed by Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly. The plot centers on a massive burglary that a thief named Ejin and a group of odd heroes carry out in order to find a stolen object. However, where the fun is if everything goes smoothly, similarly here two things go wrong when they encounter the evil individuals and learn that one of their own members joined them for her own sinister hidden purposes. I won't say much more because it will disclose the main story mystery, but primarily, it's about that relic, what it is, what it can do, and why they or other people need it, which is the major suspense that will keep you going. The film offers an epic fantasy experience filled with monsters, majestic palaces, wicked magical creatures, and mystical kingdoms. It's the closest thing to a perfect fantasy movie I've seen in recent years, and it's not just the best, it's easily among the must-see movies of 2023. That's it for today, thank you for watching this video. And do subscribe our channel to see more videos related to movies and series suggestions.